Yesterday I wrote, and I've given myself a new project.
If you don't mind me asking, what is this new project?
Well, it's more like an extension of the songwriting challenge. I want to, as I've kind of pointed out, like I want to do both, like biblical music and not, or like not, but not specifically designed
biblical
for that.
and secular music.
Yeah, I guess. Like, although there's a lot of crossover, I kind of hate to make that distinction, but kind of have to, I guess. But I've been doing a lot of my autobiographical stuff and like fictional stuff, but I don't know, I've been kind of slacking, and I was like, well, if I'm saying I'm going to do both, I kind of have to do both. Like, so, I have a Bible app, and they have a verse of the day, and I'm trying to, like, every other day probably is what I'm going to, be able to manage to do, is, like, write a couple verses using that verse. Like, they may not end up being anything, like, write a couple lyrics or a couple lines.
But this is how you start the process. Even if one thing doesn't become something, you may get a good song out of it, even once a month.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I was working on that, like, a lot yesterday. I don't like what I came up with, but, like, what I want to do is kind of revamp the whole Christian music scene, because I feel like a lot of it sounds very, like, homogenous, and, like, they all went to the same producer and were like, yeah, I want to sound like this person. And they all said that same thing, and they all have, like, the same structure and the same chords and the same reverb, and it's just, like, it gets, like, I don't know. I don't, to be honest, I don't like listening to much Christian music. Like, I just don't find it very interesting. Not that the lyrics aren't good, or, like, hearing positive stuff isn't good, but, like, just as far as lyrics go, they're not very poetic. They're kind of the same over and over again. They use the same things, same chords, same lyrics, same ideas. Yeah. And I'm trying to make something different. But yesterday what I ended up doing is writing a very cliche song, and so I didn't like that.
But that's how it starts, though. You have to write a bunch of, like, cliche songs before you finally get to something that's really, really good.
Yeah. And I don't know, I want to put my own spin on it. And that's going to be interesting to figure out what exactly that is, because I kind of know what it is in my autobiographical or fictional or those kinds of things. I kind of have not a formula, but I kind of know what I do. But when I'm trying to use somebody else's words, that's always a little bit interesting, and these are like God's words, so I feel kind of like pressure about it.
You don't want to fuck it up.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to fuck it up, but I do want to make it, like, interesting.
You're trying to imply that God is, like, really boring right now.
What?
I said you're trying to imply that God is really boring.
Sure. No. Not exactly, no. I'm just being really boring, apparently, about it.